Here's Peppermint again, and I just wanted to show how she's progressed since the last video of her. You can see I'm still doing a lot of work on getting her to guide and be soft as she turns. I'm starting to make a pretty big deal about hunting a circle and really following a feel when I'm asking her to bend and move around. And here towards the beginning of the video, she was being a little bit quick. There were just different times where she would start rushing at the trot, and instead of fighting with her and trying to pull her, I just turn and bend her around until she softens and I feel her relax, and then I let her travel straight. And I use the cone so that I have a visual marker. I can kind of gauge where my circle is and keep myself accurate. You can see she's actually being pretty soft. She guides around a lot nicer. She's kind of bending all the way through her body in those turns, and she's being responsive. And I've been doing rollbacks on her lately to help her rock her weight onto her hind end, really get her hocks up underneath her and use her body correctly. And there's another one. She really uses her hind end well. That's just a way that I can really start helping her figure out how to guide and follow her nose without having to put a lot of pressure on her. The fence helps me. I can get her head sort of turned in the direction I want, put my leg against her, and the fence helps to keep her in place and rock her back so that I'm not doing a bunch of pulling on her mouth. I don't want to get her mouth real hard. I just want her to learn how to guide. And it's important with a colt, when they've done something correctly and they're trying hard for you, to let them rest. So here I'm just walking her around, and I'll pick her back up into a trot. I do a lot of trotting towards the beginning. I actually like trotting probably the most out of any gait. You have enough impulsion that you can move them around and actually get something done, but you're not going so fast that the horse is kind of tuning you out and you feel like you're losing space in your arena or wherever you're riding. You can get a lot done in between. And here you can see she's out of balance. She had her hips rocked to the outside of that circle, so she picked up the wrong lead. And here I hold her with my outside leg, and she picks up the correct lead. And now she's following that circle a lot nicer. You see she's really hunting that circle a lot better. I have to help her here up at the top side of it a little bit, but not very much. And she comes down here, stops pretty nicely. It's a little rough. Turns around. And I trot her out of that rollback. And here the same thing. She pushes her body towards the outside. Her hip really goes to the outside of the circle, so she was going to pick up the incorrect lead. And so instead of fighting with her and trying to hold her on the circle with my outside leg, I just bend her around and redirect her feet so that she's not really thinking about drifting out on me. She just needs to follow that rein feel. And you can see as soon as she softens her body up and follows that circle, when I kick her out of it, she picks up the correct lead, and I just let her cruise around now. Come into the fence, stop. That one wasn't too bad. She trickled through it, so I bent her. I'm going to send her right back out. Once again, wrong lead, and that's okay. And at this point, I'm going to stop her because for the most part, she knows how to follow that feel around, and she knows how to track with her whole body. She knows how to not fade to the outside. And so I'm just going to stop her, bring her back, start that circle over, and you saw that she picked up the wrong lead again. It's the same thing. I'm just going to bend her around. And since she's kicking her hip to the outside, I actually turn her to the outside because she's so thick and she's not great at bending her body. her hip will go to the outside of that circle. So if I'm picking up the left lead and she wants to kick her hips to the right and pick up the incorrect lead for my circle, I'm going to turn her to the right a little bit and let her push her hips over to the left again. So as soon as I come out of that circle and ask for a lope, she'll pick it up correctly. I'm going to do it again up here in a second. She's picking up the right lead. I'm going to turn her to the right. And before she has time to register what's going on, as we leave, I'm going to ask her for the left lead again. And there she goes. She doesn't really have the body control yet for me to just put my leg back and shove her hips over. There, she went around pretty nice. She really got up underneath herself that time when she stopped. That was pretty good. I just back her up a few steps here. Ask her to turn around. And now I kind of just want her to walk out. And she's a little bit amped up from loping so much, and she wants to be in a hurry and trot. And that's okay. I'm not going to pull on her to try to make her walk. I'll just get myself into a big old fight, and she will win it. And the problem with holding them at a walk is that you're telling them don't do it. And as soon as you let go of the reins and give them some slack, they're going to go right back into that trot. So instead of holding her and making her walk, I'm going to let her trot, but whenever she does it, I'm going to bend her around and let her know, well, you can trot, but you're getting nowhere fast and you're just going to circle here. And the times when I let go and let her travel straight, even though she's still trotting, she had slowed down and I felt her relax. And so I let her go. And then as she sped up, I bent her around again. And you see right there, she understands and she slows down to a walk. Really good girl.